And I believe that strangers are friends that we haven't met yet. And I totally rely on the kindness of strangers. So 4.5 years ago, I was in Puerto Rico for my high school reunion. And that's where I went to high school, and it was wonderful. And I'd spent a week with all these crazy people I grew up with. And Steve and I were heading back to San Juan to catch another plane. And in the car, I never felt it, but my left retina detached. And I couldn't see out of my left eye. And I was telling Steve, I can't see. And he's like, what? And then he realized what had happened. And he was like, oh my God, we gotta get to a hospital. Your eye is dying. And okay. And so it turned into this scary trip trying to find the hospital. And we had people help us we went to a few wrong places at first. We had to take a number, and Steve's like, no, we need help. So we wound up in a hospital, and we got there, and there were police everywhere, and there were people milling around, and we got in the hospital, and I realized I would never have surgery here. Puerto Rico had defaulted on their loan, and I really didn't know what that meant. And we got in there, and it was really scary, and Steve doesn't speak any Spanish, and I forgot any Spanish I knew. And so we eventually found a doctor that told me that yes, my eye had detached, and my left eye was also damaged, and that could detach, and that I should not have surgery there, and I should get on a plane and get the hell home and have my eye fixed. And he also asked me, how did your eye detach? What happened? And did you have a violent episode or an accident or something? Violent, something unusual? And I thought about it, and I went, could dancing do it? And he went, what? And I said, I was at my reunion, and my daughter filmed me dancing to Purple Haze. And it was really disturbing when I saw it. I thought it was a great dancer. And I said, did I do this to myself? Did I dance my eye off? And he's like, yeah, I think you did. And I said, well, there was a lot of this. And he goes, don't do that. Just get on a plane and go home. And so I was trying not to move very much. And Steve got us a flight, and we flew to New York. And it was really hairy. I kept thinking, my eye feels weird. You can't feel anything, but it's just you can't see. So we got to New York, and then we had to take a leg to Salt Lake City. And I was okay till we got on the plane, and I realized we're not sitting together. And he's sitting with these people, and I'm alone, and I'm freaking out and starting to cry into my scarf and trying to be brave. And he happened to look over, and he jumped up and he went, Karen! And the lady sitting next to him said, oh my God, come sit in my seat. I heard everything, come over here. So I jumped up and I ran over, and there was a rabbi sitting in the aisle seat, and he stood up and he turned to me, and he knew my name. He said, Karen, God has this. You're fine. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. And I'm bawling, and I get in my seat. I'm like, I'm praying. And he turned to me and he said, do you want a Valium? I was like, yeah. And the stewardess was walking by. Pretty soon I'm having wine, and I'm chatting with my new best friend, Benny Zippel, from Salt Lake City. He's a rabbi in Salt Lake City. And we talked about everything. And when we got to Salt Lake City, he had to get off, and he was saying goodbye, and Steve said, I'm gonna ask Benny for another Valium. And I went, no! Oh, okay, yeah. So Benny gives us another Valium, and because I have surgery in the morning. And I should have taken it because Steve couldn't find it. That night, he's like, I don't know where I put it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And so anyway, I got through the surgery. I was getting better, and my right eye detached 6 months later. And then I'm like, fuck. And so that night I'm like, why can't you be a real doctor and have drugs? And he came over to me and he said, look what I found. I found the pill from Benny. It was in my shaving kit. And Benny saved my ass twice. And so anyway, and Steve's my best friend. He's seen me through everything. So anyway.